Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill on what is a glorious afternoon. My name is Carol Folt, and I'm the Chancellor of UNC Chapel Hill, and it is my incredible honor to have the privilege of officiating today's ceremony. I want to thank all of you for joining us at this time when we're going to dedicate a building that will house the faculty, the students, and the staff who are going to push boundaries of human knowledge and change people's lives forever. Today, we're also celebrating the storied partnership between the people of North Carolina and visionary individuals over the decades who together have built and support generously the finest university in the nation. And in this university, one of the very best research and healthcare operations anywhere. More than 220 years ago, the University of North Carolina's founders built the first public university to teach and to understand Lux et Libertas. And that grand mission of enlightenment now includes the goal to advance humankind with discoveries and services that will help the state and the nation. As the university of the people, we are the university of each generation. And as such, we have to respond to the needs and the most pressing questions of each day. This includes questions like, how can we cure and prevent some of our most deadly diseases? The research that will take place here in Marsico Hall will seek answers to those big and critical questions. We know, for example, how the human lung works and how it fails in response to disease. Scientists who will be in this very hall have already made amazing discoveries advancing the treatment of cystic fibrosis, asthma, and other related diseases. And this facility, Marsico Hall, will certainly take them further. Here, together, talented people from the School of Medicine and the Eshelman School of Pharmacy will have tools to develop new therapies to treat disease and new vaccines to prevent it entirely. The people and the questions of our time, working together for a better future, that truly is Carolina's greatest strength, and our state's commitment to this and their care of our university has made this possible. 5 years ago, the North Carolina State Legislature committed more than $250 million for this building, and that was done despite economic slowdown. They knew that medical research and innovation are vital for the future of our state, and it is that kind of vision and the commitment that makes our universities truly the envy of the nation. We're very honored to have a number of current and former legislators with us here today, and we will be recognizing different numbers of them individually in a moment. Our congressional delegation has sent representatives from the offices of Congressman Howard Coble, David Price, George Holding, and Congresswoman Renee Elmers. Thank you all for joining us. Former Senator and Senate President Mark Basnight, whose support was absolutely critical to seeing this facility, could not be here in person. However, he is watching us on live stream, and representing him here today is his former Chief of Staff, Amy Falk. Amy? There she is. Thank you. Welcome. I'd also like to recognize Chancellor Emeritus James Measer and Provost Jim Dean. Throughout Carolina's history, the state's generosity has been magnified through partnerships with engaged, generous, and dedicated individuals. Thomas Marsico, in whose honor we are naming this building for his lifetime contributions to Carolina, is one of those truly extraordinary people. He's a true friend of science and humanity. Like a scientist, He's drawn to the big questions and elegant answers. Yet, he also cares deeply for people. So he always wants to see that the science he loves is translated, that it's used very directly to help us and humanity to use our discoveries to benefit people. The state of North Carolina is enriched by his devotion to UNC, and we're very, very proud that he's our partner in this exciting journey of discovery. Tom is with us today, along with his family, his wife Sydney, and children Jennifer, who is Carolina, class of 2003, Peter, class of 2008, Jimmy, who chose the University of Texas. But we're very, very happy to have all of you here. Tom and Sydney, dedicated Carolina parents, have been engaged with the university for many years, and until now their support for the School of Medicine and so much more has been anonymous. Tom, Sydney, family, thank you for allowing us to honor you in this naming ceremony. For just a moment before we introduce our next speakers, I'd like to take a moment to recognize some of the people who worked on this project. As you know, these projects take thousands and thousands of hands, hearts, minds, eyes, all the details. And we're going to recognize just a few of them. And if you would, let's hold the applause till I get through the whole list. But as I call you out, if you can, stand up or let people see who you are. That would be wonderful. So first, I'd like to recognize representatives from the following firms. We're going to talk about our architects, the designers, the engineers, the project managers. The architects, Perkins and Will. I know they're here. Engineers, Newcomb and Boyd and Mulkey. Landscape architects, Surface 678. Equipment contractor, Vertex. Members from there. And manager, Choate Construction. Let's thank them all. Here at UNC, I'd like to mention Associate Vice Chancellor of Facilities and Services, Bruce Runberg. Assistant Vice Chancellor and University Architect, Anna Wu. Assistant Director of Planning, Mesa Konishi. Director of Construction, Sid Stone. Assistant Dean, Eugene Bober from the School of Medicine. Associate Dean, Wayne Pittman of the Eshelman School of Pharmacy. Thank you all. It's now my great pleasure and honor to introduce Tom Ross, President of the University of North Carolina.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chancellor. It's a thrill to be here on the occasion of the dedication of Marsico Hall. I get asked sometimes, am I having fun in my job? I'm not going to tell you how I answer that, but what I'm going to tell you, days like this are fun. These are fun, and I'm really glad to be here. And Chancellor, I want to remind you that I remain thrilled with your leadership. Thank you. In the years ahead, this spectacular new research building will facilitate the continued discovery of new knowledge that directly benefits, and I say directly, benefits the people of North Carolina, as well as the rest of the world. Given their past successes, I can only imagine what our faculty in medicine and pharmacy and nanomedicine and pharmacoengineering will be able to accomplish together with the benefit of these new facilities and the state-of-the-art equipment inside. Mr. Marsico and I were talking coming down the hall about talent, and you need talent to accomplish great things. But you have to have facilities, both to help attract the talent, but to give them a place to do their work. And that is what's so great about this building. This day has been a long time coming. It is the culmination of years of dreaming and planning and hard work. And I want to particularly thank Bill Roper, Bob Bluen, and Shelley Earp, as well as members of their teams, for all of the work they did to make this possible. So join me in thanking them and their staff. And I see Jeff Halp, who I know had some dreams about this, and others in the room who've done so much, legislators and former legislators here. It wouldn't have happened without a lot of work from a lot of people. And particularly, I think all of us know that it would not have been possible without the strong support of the General Assembly and other state leaders, and of course the sizable investment by the taxpayers of North Carolina. The fact that Marsico Hall was considered so critical to North Carolina's future, both to its health and economy, that it was the only public building funded by the 2009 General Assembly. Particularly during tough economic times, I'm grateful to our state leaders, both past and present, who have and had the vision to continue to move this great university and our state forward with critical investments such as this wonderful building. The state-of-the-art facility is now the third largest building on the Chapel Hill campus. But I want to underscore that we have not gathered today to celebrate the additional square footage. What I want to talk about is to say to the contrary, that what will happen inside this building and what will emanate from here, that's what really counts. The boundless potential of interdisciplinary research that will take place in these fabulous new labs brings renewed hope for better treatment and eventual cures for cystic fibrosis, cancer, autoimmune disorders, and a multitude of other diseases. This world-class facility will provide a showcase for what the world's best scientists can accomplish. And that's exactly what we have here at Carolina, scientists who are at the top of their game on the cutting edge of new ideas. At a time when we are all too used to hearing about a difficult economy, budget cuts, resource challenges, UNC Chapel Hill ranks 9th in the nation in federally funded research, and most of that comes from the National Institute of Health. Believe me, that did not happen by the luck of the draw. It happened because of amazing people working extremely hard every day. And it also happened because of the wise allocation of limited resources. Marsico Hall will position UNC Chapel Hill to build on its enviable record, not just for winning grants, but for changing lives for the better. The discoveries and the innovations made and developed here will attract new jobs to our state and fuel the state's future economy. But most importantly, the work that will be done in this new place will extend, improve, and save lives. This is a great day for our university. It is a great day for all of North Carolina, and I'm enormously proud to be a part of it. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Aldona Voss, Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. I first got to know Dr. Voss when I lived in Greensboro, which is where she lives, and I can tell you that she is a woman with an amazing story and a deep commitment to service. So please join me in welcoming Secretary Aldona Voss.
Thank you, Mr. President. That sounds lovely, Mr. President. Once again, thank you for inviting me here. On behalf of Governor Pat McCrory and the state of North Carolina, I offer congratulations to the UNC School of Medicine and to the entire university system on the completion of this absolutely phenomenal and impressive and important research facility. One that holds promise for the future of medical research and for the education of the talented young people that will seek medical degrees in our state. This building is both a testament to the robust health of research efforts throughout the school and also a strong indicator to your dedication to actually improving medical care. The Department of Health and Human Services has many components that will continue in the future to intertwine with the work and the research that will be accomplished right here in this magnificent building, thanks to your generosity. The Division of Public Health, the State Laboratory of Public Health, the Office of Chief Medical Examiner, the Office of Rural Health and Community Care, all require the expertise that training, education, and research embody. As your partners in seeking the future health and the well-being of North Carolina citizens, we embrace the many ways that our paths cross. We look forward to the benefits that may come as your brightest graduates move into the healthcare industry. On behalf of Governor McCrory, I thank you, and I thank all of you for taking the time to be here, and thank you once again for your generosity.
Thank you, Secretary Vash. We're so pleased that you could be here. Our next speaker is Dr. Lowry Cottle, Chair of the UNC Chapel Hill Board of Trustees. He will be followed by my colleagues, Dean Bob Bluen of the Eshelman School of Pharmacy and William Roper, Dean of the UNC School of Medicine, Vice Chancellor for Medical Affairs, and CEO of the UNC Healthcare, and then they will be followed by Mr. Marsico.
I'm delighted today to speak on behalf of the University of North Carolina Board of Trustees. I'm also happy to be joined by fellow trustees, Sally Shuping Russell and Kelly Hopkins. And I'd like to add my thanks to you, Secretary Vosh, for representing the state today. We know that when the economy is uncertain, like it was in 2009, it takes special vision and courage of leadership to commit to the projects that you know hold long-time promise. It's also an honor to recognize the distinguished state representatives who are with us today. Representative Verla Insko, Senator J. Michael Woodard, Senator Valerie Fouché, former Senator Tony Rand, and as our Chancellor mentioned earlier and via satellite, former Senator and State President Mark Bass-Knight. And Tom, the trustees are equally grateful for your dedicated commitment to Carolina. Your support for this great university makes a critical difference in what can be accomplished here. Thank you. As trustees, we are proud to join you as we celebrate this important investment in the future of the health and well-being of the state of North Carolina. Thank you.
On behalf of the faculty, staff, students, alumni, and donors of the UNC Eshelman School of Pharmacy, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Tom Marsico, the people of North Carolina, and the state legislature for helping make this dream become a reality. This represents a major commitment to the research efforts of the schools of pharmacy and medicine. If you haven't been through the building yet, you know it is an incredible structure. But ultimately, it will be the faculty, the staff, and the students, scientists, who will make this dream a reality through the work that they do. And what will they do? They will build the next generations of drugs, drug delivery systems, biomarkers, genetic markers, imaging systems for the purpose of curing disease. Since 2002, the UNC Eshelman School of Pharmacy has grown its research funding by nearly 1,500%, arguably placing us amongst the top 2 nationally amongst our peers. I look across the street at the genetic medicine building and see what was accomplished as a consequence of a commitment to build that structure to enable that kind of success. But what is really the secret formula for success on this campus is not its buildings. It's not even the specificity of the faculty's research. It is the way that our faculty blend their research with that of other scientists, creating a collaborative environment that helps this university solve the most complex of problems facing us as we try to cure these very complex diseases. And so it is this collaboration and this collaborative spirit that is unique to Carolina that will take full advantage of this physical facility as our faculty, staff, and students exploit it to the maximum. I believe that the $250 million investment that the citizens of this state is entrusting in all of us who accept this building today will pay huge dividends, not only through reputation, but in the serious problems that this university will be able to solve on behalf of the citizens of this great state. So again, on behalf of all of us over in the School of Pharmacy, I want to thank the support of Mr. Marsico and the citizens of North Carolina. In particular, thank you, Senator Bass-Knight. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is a beautiful Carolina spring day and an honor for me to be here with you all. I'd like to begin by acknowledging several people who've made today a reality. Chancellor, thank you for your presence here today and for your leadership that is taking us in new directions. We welcome what you're doing on our behalf. This facility can allow the conduct of research at UNC Chapel Hill to better address the needs of the people, not only of North Carolina, but people around the world. I'd also like to thank my distinguished colleague and predecessor, Dr. Jeffrey Haupt. Jeff was the dean at the School of Medicine when we, the UNC Medicine, began the relationship with Tom Marsico, and I think it's really true that Jeff is the single person most responsible for our many years-long partnership with Tom Marsico. And I'd also like to recognize another distinguished predecessor, Stuart Bondurant, who's pioneered what it means to be a dean of a medical school. The state of North Carolina made this project a reality, as has been said by others. The support of citizens and legislators, in particular Mark Bass-Knight and Tony Rand, but many others, are why we are here to dedicate this building today. We thank you, Mark, and others for your generosity. I've said to others, and I say it here today, this is a gift from the people of North Carolina to the people of North Carolina and the world, and we are very grateful for it. And Tom, we are grateful for your generosity. We're here today to honor you, and as I trust you all know, Tom is the single largest donor to the UNC School of Medicine, and we thank you for all you've enabled us to do. At our urging, Tom has agreed to accept this well-deserved and long overdue recognition. The building we're standing in today is named for him, and we thank you, Tom, for your dedication to higher education, to research, and to the health sciences. This building will house many, many people who do path-breaking research in the medical sciences. Let me just name a few. First, Dr. Rick Boucher, the Keenan Distinguished Professor of Medicine and Executive Dean for Translational Research and Director of the Marsico Institute for Lung Health. Thank you, Rick, for all you've done to make this possible. Inside this building was going to be advanced imaging technology, including an MRI PET scanner. We're one of only 4 places in the country to get this state-of-the-art scanner, and we celebrate what it's going to enable us to do. The building also contains a 7 Tesla MRI full-body scanner, and I'll explain to you on the side what that means. We're among the first academic centers scheduled to receive this. The facility also houses a cyclotron, which is necessary to have on site here to create the materials required in PET imaging. In addition to Rick Boucher and his work, others in this facility include Joe DeSimone, the Chancellor's Eminent Professor of Chemistry and the Keenan Distinguished Professor of Chemical Engineering at NC State. Joe, thank you for what you're doing. And Dr. Wei-Lee Lin, the Dixie Lee Bonnie Sue Distinguished Professor and Director of the Biomedical Research Imaging Center here. And Dr. Bill Goldman, Chair of UNC's Department of Microbiology, and his colleagues will be here. And Dr. Ned Sharpless, the Director of the UNC Lineberger Cancer Center, and his colleagues will be here. Leading researchers will use this facility to continue advancing medical breakthroughs in fields such as cancer research, lung disease, infectious disease, and new drug delivery systems, including nanomedicine and pharmacoengineering. And we're especially pleased, and I'm personally proud, to be able to share this building with our colleagues in the UNC Eshelman School of Pharmacy, led by Dean Bob Bluen. You've heard a number of names of people who've played important roles in bringing this building about. There's one other person that I want to highlight and call out, who usually works behind the scenes but does important work that is very consequential, including this building, and that's Kevin Fitzgerald. Please thank Kevin for all he did to make this happen. And so thank you all for being here today to celebrate and honor the generosity of the state of North Carolina and our good friend, Tom Marsico. Tom?
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Bill. Thank you, Chancellor. I must say I've given a number of different speeches to different groups. It's usually related to something I'm very familiar with. I've never quite been caught in this position, and I only have to look at Rick Boucher to tell him I wish he wouldn't have done this to me. This is an overwhelming experience. It's something that I never aspired to. My wife and I, who I've loved for 35 years and more, and my family, Jennifer, Jimmy, and Peter, mean the world to me. And we wanted to make an investment. We've made investments in a number of different areas. But we wanted to invest our dollars in an area where we really thought that someday that we could really make a difference in something that we feel is important, and that is the lung and pulmonary disease. I was very fortunate to have an early relationship starting in 1997 when I came down here for a meeting, and I was involved on the business side, and I was able to meet Michael Hooker, who was then Chancellor. He was a very special man. Unfortunately, we lost him. I feel like I'm from Carolina, so I say we. We lost him a couple of years later. But I was inspired by his leadership. And then I met James Meisner, and I was inspired by how very intelligent guy from Nebraska could come down here to North Carolina and fit in and navigate all the different things that chancellors have to navigate. And I felt confident in the leadership that Carolina had with James at the helm. I was also worked with Jeff Haupt at the medical school because we were talking about different things that Michael Hooker had made present to me, and I thought that they were important to go ahead and make the investment. So Jeff has always been a great friend and always had great insights into things that I really didn't recognize. And then Bill Roper carrying on, just the baton was handed from Jeff to Bill. It was very seamless. And so I feel like we're very fortunate to have Bill here. I think that at one point in time he was going to get swept away by Washington, D.C., and we didn't want him to move. Everybody here that's from North Carolina, maybe you don't have any idea how special it is that the state and the legislature can understand the importance of an investment like this. I deal with a lot of different universities and endowments and foundations, and to have the sort of background and leadership that you have in this state as far as higher education and also research is something that's really phenomenal. And if you don't go to other states, you really might not realize how important and how impressive this is. It does create a lot of great jobs and great people that go on to work in the state. So it's a very valuable resource. I'm very humbled to be a small part of this partnership. We just wanted to do it to help people. I'm very appreciative for the acknowledgement. I feel fortunate and look forward to a continuing relationship with you, Chancellor, with you, Rick, and with you, Bill, and the School of Pharmacy. This is just very special to me and my family. Thank you very much.
Tom, all members of your family, once again, thank you so much. Now I want to thank one more group of people, and I want you to raise your hands. I want everybody who's going to work in this building to put their hand up, the faculty, the staff, the students from the 2 wonderful schools and departments. Thank you all for what you're going to do. This ceremony is really about a future that you're going to create, and we're so excited to be here. I'm going to give an announcement, and then we'll move into the next phase of this. The announcement is that we'd love you to stay afterwards for refreshments. And for the next hour, we invite you to tour parts of the building. There will be guides on 3 floors who can show you around and answer questions, maybe even answer the question that Bill mentioned. You can take any one of the passenger elevators that are to our right, and you can see the major imaging procedure sites in the sub-basement, or you can go to level 7 and see the Marsico Lung Institute and get a chance to see what a typical research lab layout looks like. That, if you haven't done it, I really do encourage you to do that. You can also visit the Biomedical Research Imaging Center site, and you do that by taking the main steps up from the lobby and turning right. So now you get a quiz. No, there will be people to help direct you. You know, we have rituals because we want to honor things that really matter to us. And I think right now we're going to do a wonderful ritual, which is the official ribbon cutting. And when we cut that ribbon, which is the entry to this building, we really are doing it with that amazing sense of gratitude to the state and the people of the state, to Tom, to family, to the people in this room, and we're doing it with recognition of the incredible responsibility that you heard people talk about. So I'm going to ask some people to join me in that wonderful ribbon cutting opportunity. And so I'm going to ask Representative Insko, Senator Woodard, Senator Fushi, former Senator Tony Rand, Jeffrey Hupp, and the platform party to join in the ribbon cutting, and then I'll give the official words of dedication. Thank you.